Well, I suppose technically it is still Christmas. So can I say Happy Christmas to everyone who is celebrating Christmas? At the moment, I hope you are having a super duper time. Yes, we are back once again, even though it is a public holiday here in the UK and maybe where you are as well. I have decided to come on. I am here with you. And yes, it is Christmas 2021. Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope you've had a good day. Well, I hope it was yesterday. Of course, today is not Christmas Day. It is the day after Christmas, which we often refer to as Boxing Day. Yes, I am feeling rather excited. A very busy day yesterday. I don't know what you were doing yesterday, but I was eating lots of food, opening some lovely presents that Mr. Steve had bought for me. Isn't that nice? Yes, here we are again. English Addict is back. I know I'm late. I have a very good excuse for being late, and it isn't because I've taken too many painkillers. We will discuss that later on, by the way. My strange behaviour last week. A lot of people were asking about it. They were asking what was going on. What was going on, Mr. Duncan, with you last week? You were acting very strangely indeed. Well, I will explain all of that later on, and I will talk about Christmas time, because it is Christmas still, even though it is now the day after Christmas. I hope you had a super duper time yesterday. I had a wonderful time with Mr. Steve. We had lots of food. We had a lovely Christmas meal. We had lots of things to eat, lots of sweet things to eat as well. So it wasn't just turkey, it wasn't just all of the traditional things that you would imagine people eating at Christmas. There were other things as well, sweet things. Let's just say we did have rather a lot to eat yesterday. I hope you are okay. My name is Mr. Duncan, and I talk about English on YouTube. I've been doing this for ever such a long time. I really have. Many years, in fact. But here I am again, once again with you, saying, I hope you are feeling good today. And I hope you've had a nice time. I wonder how many people here at the moment are feeling a little sore in the head, because perhaps you have had too much alcohol over the Christmas period. So we haven't had any. I can say now, I can cross my heart and I can swear on anything you want me to swear on that I've had no alcohol over Christmas. Nothing. No alcohol whatsoever. Mr. Steve also has managed not to have any alcohol. We might have some later on. I'm not sure. We haven't decided yet. But we might have a little bit later on. So we will be showing the prizes. Prizes? What prizes? The presents. They feel like prizes, to be honest. Because, after all, spending Christmas holiday with Mr. Steve, I really do deserve some sort of prize. So maybe they are prizes, you see. Maybe they are not presents. Maybe they are prizes. But we will be looking at the presents a little bit later on with Mr. Steve, who will be here in a few moments from now. So something a little bit different today. We are in a relaxed mood. We're in the holiday mood because it is a public holiday here in the UK. Looking outside, by the way, it's very murky, misty, dull, damp. It doesn't feel like Christmas. Apparently tomorrow the temperature here is going to be 16 Celsius. That's crazy. It shouldn't be 16 Celsius tomorrow. That doesn't make any sense. It's winter. It's supposed to be winter at the moment. But apparently we are going to have lots of lovely Mediterranean air, warm air, blowing our way over the next couple of days. So it's going to be incredibly mild. It is not going to feel like Christmas at all. That's all I can say. So we will be talking to Mr. Steve in a few moments. It is a little bit different. We also have some big special thank yous to give out as well. Some big special thank yous coming up in a few moments. Here is an excerpt from one of my full English lessons whilst Mr. Steve gets himself comfortable in the studio. And then, yes, we are back after this with lots of Christmas chat. Don't go away, please. I like to think of myself as being a helpful chap. I always try to give a helping hand whenever I can. So today I will start with a useful tip for those planning to come to the UK. My tip for survival today is never accept a £50 note from anyone. I'm not kidding. If you are ever offered a £50 note as payment or in change, you must refuse it. Do not take the £50 note. Why, I hear you ask? The answer is simple, because you will never get rid of it. No one will accept a £50 note. Shops will not take them. You will not be able to get change for it. No one knows what a real £50 note looks like. People just assume they are all fake. So, just to reiterate, don't accept a £50 note from anyone, anywhere, at any time. Hi everybody and welcome to another full English lesson. Let's get on with it, shall we? Let's do it. Let's learn some more English. Right? Ding! Now! Many people have asked me, Mr. Duncan, what is the best way to speak English? Is it with an American accent or a British accent? I think this is a very interesting question indeed, and some might say that it is not easy to answer. But my answer to this question is quite simple. You use the English you feel the most comfortable with. You don't have to sound like an American when you're speaking. You don't have to sound like a British person when you're speaking. As long as you feel comfortable with the way you use English, that is the most important thing of all. Of course, it's also important that the other person understands what you are saying as well. So don't worry too much about sounding like somebody else. Don't punish yourself by trying to copy someone else's way of speaking. What you have to do is develop your own way of using English. Don't forget, English is an emotional language. It's a personal language. It's a language that you use to express the way you feel. So don't worry about sounding like somebody else. Use English as you would your own language, in your own way, to express the way you feel. So you don't have to sound like Mr. Duncan. You don't have to sound like some American movie star. You don't have to sound like anybody. What you have to sound like is you. Have you ever been on a busman's holiday? Have you ever heard of this expression before? Well, let me explain what it is. A busman's holiday is an expression that describes a situation where a person is doing something for relaxation that they would be normally doing in their occupation. That is to say, they are trying to take a break away from their work by doing something that relates to their actual job. For example, if I went away for a trip to London for a break, away from making video lessons, and whilst there I went to visit the YouTube headquarters to talk to someone about video production, then you might describe this as a busman's holiday. I am doing something in my free time that relates to my actual job. We can call anything related to a person's profession as a busman's holiday, if the thing in question can be connected to their normal occupation. A doctor might visit a museum of medicine during a vacation. A firefighter might have to put out a blaze at a hotel they are staying at. A person who drives a bus for a living might have to drive the family around whilst on holiday. Hence the expression busman's holiday. I always like to introduce new words and phrases to you, and today is no exception. The phrase I'm going to show you today refers to a certain item of clothing. The phrase is old hat. Here you can see in my hand one of my old hats that I used to wear. The phrase old hat means to be obsolete or tired out by being done too often or for too long. A thing that has been said or done time and time again over a long period of time can be referred to as old hat. It has been done so many times before, most people have become bored with it. A tired and overdone thing is old hat. This new superhero movie plot is so old hat. An out-of-date thing or something that is seen as old-fashioned can be described as old hat. It is no longer fashionable. It is boring. It has been done too often, for too long. It is old hat. The phrase derives from the notion of something being worn too often, such as an old hat, to the point where it looks tired and worn out. It has been used for a very long time. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, that's not very Christmassy, Mr. Duncan. Well, don't worry, because from this point, everything is going to be very Christmassy indeed. Jingle, 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 jingle.
Hello.
Hello. Here he is.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, lovely viewers and friends from all around the world. Wonderful for you to join us on Boxing Day.
This is my own personal Santa Claus.
Yes, it is. And Mr. Duncan, I've got this ready.
The only thing is, he doesn't come down my chimney.
That's true. I've got this ready, Mr. Duncan, just in case we have any accidents today, or if you're feeling unwell, rather than have to go into the garden, you can just be sick into this bag.
I think Steve is mentioning something that happened last week. We had a really weird live stream last week. So Steve has given me this sick bag to vomit into, just in case, because last week, if you remember, I wasn't feeling very well, and we're going to explain what happened very briefly. Last week I had a headache. I woke up with a headache. A headache in the morning, and I took 2 of these tablets just before I went on. 500 milligrams of codeine. But...
No, Mr. Duncan.
But I took 2... Yes, I'm just getting to that, Steve.
Yes.
I'm telling the story. I took 2 of the tablets, which means that...
Yes, it's 500 milligrams paracetamol and 30 milligrams codeine.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
I suppose it's just as well it wasn't.
Let me just check, because that could explain a lot. Yes. Well, you see, the doctor prescribed these for me.
Oh, okay, Steve. I
when
wasn't
I
going
had
to
a bad
mention.
shoulder.
Steve,
yes.
I wasn't actually going to
But
mention
I didn't
that.
take them because they give you constipation.
I wasn't going to mention that. What? You're not really supposed to take other people's medication.
That doesn't matter. They're only painkillers.
Yes. Well,
I didn't use them, you see.
Yeah, can I just tell the story?
Yeah, carry on.
These are very strong tablets for easing pain. And I woke up last week with a headache, and I decided to take not 1 but 2 of these, and they are very strong. And I took them just a few moments before I came on the live stream. And during the live stream, I became quite ill. I actually went into the back garden and vomited. And you can still see the vomit.
Well, yes, because the acid from Mr. Duncan's stomach has formed a light patch on one of the paving slabs.
Yes.
Outside. So there's an imprint. It's washed away by the rain, but the acid from Mr. Duncan's stomach, from his vomit, has cleaned one of the patio slabs.
Yes. So a piece of concrete has been partially dissolved by my vomit. That's how strong it is. It's a bit like Alien. It's those aliens, you see. They also vomit acid, and maybe I do. So that's the reason why. Can we have a look at a photograph from last week? So here we go. This is a still. If you haven't seen last week's live stream, please, I advise you to watch it. So there I am last week.
I'm surprised it didn't go viral, Mr. Duncan, this video.
No, nothing I do, nothing I do ever goes viral, ever. Well,
this could.
Well, it's too late now, Steve. It was a week ago.
Well, maybe if people start watching it, you know.
So this is why I look like this, or I did look like this last Sunday, because I was slightly. I think the word is stoned. I was a little out of it because I was high as a kite on painkillers. But I didn't intend for that to happen. So I didn't want that to happen. But I, of course, took too many of those painkillers,
Yes.
and I was ill all the way through. And eventually, I didn't know where I was. Although some people might say that that is nothing new, they might say that that is normal, Mr. Duncan. Normally, you don't actually know where you are.
Oh, you're fine, Mr. Duncan. Yes, so you won't be taking those again.
I won't be taking them today.
And the problem with
Maybe tomorrow.
see, paracetamol is quite safe as long as you don't take too many. But
No.
when you add codeine to it, that's a strong painkiller, and you mustn't drive. It makes you very nauseous.
Yes, well, you have to remember, Steve, people become addicted to it.
And they become addicted to it, yes.
Don't worry.
Yeah, and it causes very bad constipation.
Yes, you've mentioned that 4 times now.
So beware.
Yes, beware if you want to ease the pain. You might find that you have a pain somewhere else in your body eventually as you try to push a huge, giant bowling ball out of your bum.
Valentin wants pictures of the vomiting. Well, sadly, we didn't get any photographs of the vomiting.
So-
We like to share everything with you.
I'm sorry. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you out there? You want to see me vomiting, or do you want to see my vomit?
No, the vomit is gone, euphonium.
Yes, it's
There is
just-
just an imprint,
It's just a stain.
a stain. The
Well-
rain has washed the vomit away.
Yes.
But the acid in Mr. Duncan's vomit from his
Yes.
stomach
Yes.
has etched a light patch
Yes.
onto one of the...
Paving slabs.
Paving slabs.
I think you've just told us this.
I know.
Am I watching the replay?
The best thing to get rid of nausea is vomiting. Yes, Christina.
Yes, it helped.
It does help, because if you've had too much to drink, well, which a lot of people probably have done over Christmas.
Yes.
In fact, Saturino's mentioned that Boxing Day is hangover day.
Yes.
But if you are feeling really bad from alcohol, being sick, you feel instantly better.
Yes.
I remember from a long time ago.
But
not recently.
that wasn't the reason why I vomited last week.
I know,
and
we know
and
that.
we've had no alcohol over Christmas, although Mr. Steve has something in his hand.
Well, the reason for that, Mr. Duncan, is that we are so dedicated to the live stream that we couldn't possibly have got drunk yesterday, because we knew we were live on Boxing Day.
Yes.
And we have to save all our energy for the live stream. We didn't want to be coming on with sort of feeling hungover and ill and not being able to give our best
That
to
happened.
the world.
I know. Well, that happened last week, didn't it?
But later on, Mr. Duncan,
I was
on,
I was wrecked last week.
we had no alcohol at all yesterday, didn't we?
No, we had a dry. So if you have no alcohol, we can say that you had a dry time. So if you stay dry, it's a great expression. It means that you've had no alcohol. So we had a dry Christmas Day, and that means we did not drink any alcohol. Although I have a feeling quite a few of you have been at the bottle.
I think so. Well, Saturino definitely has, I think. And I think Lewis made reference to the fact that he'd had a lot to drink yesterday.
Yes.
But that's what it's about. So today will be our Christmas, and we will indulge later. In fact, we've got one of our favourites
Oh, we've got a bit of
ready for later, Mr. Duncan.
We've got a bit of.
We're manhandling it away from me.
I'm just putting it in the middle.
I'm quite capable of displaying a bottle of alcohol, Mr.
So
Duncan.
this is Cockburns.
although it's pronounced.
Although actually, this also sounds like the side effect of having a one-night stand. You can also get Cockburns.
That may come a few days
What?
later.
Yes.
Anyway, yes.
Actually, it's pronounced Coburns.
Coburns.
But this is a type of Porto wine.
Ruby red wine. It's a sort of fortified wine
It's a good colour.
that's very popular in Portugal, Spain, maybe France.
Yes.
Probably not that popular here, but when we went to Portugal a few years ago, we absolutely loved it. We had a glass every night.
I think port is very popular here.
Particularly the ruby red version. So this isn't authentic. I don't know where this is from, actually. It could be from...
No, this is made in
from
Portugal.
Is it?
Yes.
It's proper Portuguese fortified wine,
Yes.
red ruby port.
Yes, it
so
says
we
here.
will enjoy a glass of two of that later. In fact, we may even indulge live.
No, we won't be doing that.
And we don't want Mr. Duncan to be sick.
I'm not taking any more risks after last week. After last week. We've got a lot of things to get through, Steve.
Right, okay.
First of all, can I say a very big special thank you? I received some lovely donations just before and also during Christmas as well. So can I first of all say a big thank you to Nikolaev Alexei Vitalievich.
Ooh, well,
do you
Mr.
like
Duncan,
that?
you've been practicing that, Mr. Duncan.
I have not. Olga. Olga Shripnikova, and also Hiroko Tani, and Luis Mendez as well. So thank you very much for your lovely donations that I received over Christmas. Very kind of you. And you can see at the bottom if you want to make a donation to help my work continue, because everything I do for free. It costs you absolutely nothing. So once again, thank you very much for your donations to Nikolaev, Alexei Vitalievich, and also Olga Shripnikova, Hiroko Tani, and also Luis Mendez, or should I say, Luis Mendez, for your lovely donations. Thank you very much, and I do appreciate them very much. Thank you.
It helps you to continue your work and to replace bits of equipment that are broken. It saves you having to come to me to ask for money.
That is what... that is...
I'm only joking.
Okay, Steve.
We're fun. We're having fun. A laugh.
That's not really fun, though.
Well, I think so. We've got to joke. haven't we, Mr. Duncan?
I'm not laughing because I was 10 minutes late today, 20 minutes late because the computer wouldn't work.
But we're here now. That's all that counts.
That's it. So I'm feeling a little fraught.
Euphonium says that their bottle of whiskey is completely full, so they haven't been drinking.
Oh, okay.
But I'm quite jealous because there's always somebody cooking, isn't there, during our live streams?
Always.
Always somebody cooking, multitasking.
Well, I think that's the time difference as well.
Yes, well, Euphonium is cooking something that sounds absolutely delicious, which is plov, P-L-O-V, with rice and lamb. Now, I like the sound of the rice and the lamb, but what is the plov, P-L-O-V? What is that?
What is plov?
But it sounds like some wonderful dish. I bet it's cooked in a pot and put in the oven. Oh, rice and lamb. Oh, that's a lamb curry. Is it spicy? Tell us more. I want to know because I haven't eaten much today. We will be eating a lot later. But we haven't so far.
Yes. Would you like to see what we ate yesterday? I'm going...
Is this before it goes in or when it came out later?
Okay, Stu, I don't know what that is.
I was joking that you were sick yesterday.
That is hilarious. Here we go then. Some vegetables, I don't want to talk about vomit anymore, to be honest, because I might vomit myself. Sprouts, parsnips, potatoes, spelt with an OES. Don't forget the plural of potatoes. A lot of people get it wrong. They often put E at the end of potato when it's singular. But of course, you don't do that. There's also carrots and, of course, sprouts in the middle. Green sprouts. And what's the other thing? I can't remember what it's called, Steve.
Blimey, swede.
Swede, that's
Swede.
it.
It's called a swede. So, yes, I think it's S-W-E-D-E.
Okay.
That's how we spell that. Now, it doesn't. I don't know why it's called that. It sounds like we would call somebody from Switzerland. We would say they were
Sweden.
Sweden, a Swede. But that is the name of a vegetable that we use, probably spelt the same way. I don't know. But it doesn't refer at all to anyone's nationality. It's just a particular type of vegetable called swede.
Yes.
Which is a bit like parsnips, but, well, it's a bit like a sort of cross between a carrot and a sweet potato. It's sort of orange in colour, quite pungent. It's a root vegetable, so it's a vegetable that grows in the ground, a bit like carrots or parsnips. But it's or sweet potatoes, but it's got just a different flavour. It's orange in colour. We're not that keen. I'm not a particular fan of swede, but it will go very nicely in the when we fry it up later with the potatoes and have our lovely meal that we always do on Boxing Day when we fry up the leftover vegetables to make bubble and squeak.
So there it is. You can see it now. So that's the swede. Then we have the carrots, potatoes, of course. You can't have a meal without potatoes. We have sprouts, Brussels sprouts. Yes, interesting.
Brussels sprouts, yes. So they're not. I don't know whether they are from Brussels.
Parsnips, and that's it.
Now, do we know why sprouts are called Brussels sprouts?
I think that they probably come from Brussels.
They may well do.
I'm not sure of the original term or why or where or who, but there they are.
Of course, we know a lot of people. Brussels sprouts are one of those vegetables which are sort of Marmite foods. In that some people love them. You either love them or you hate them. They're a very strong flavour. I think they're the flowering parts of the flowers of a plant. I think eventually they would turn into flowers, but they're very, very good for you, and we like them. And we shall fry up the leftovers. We keep the leftover vegetables. In fact, we cook extra. Brussels sprouts, swede, carrots, sweet potatoes, and parsnips. We will chop them up and fry them later and have them with the leftover. We didn't have turkey, we had chicken, and I've got the gravy and the white sauce and the stuffing, and we will have a lovely delicious meal later on. In fact, I shall start cooking it as soon as we're off the live stream.
It's amazing how many people do not like Brussels sprouts. They don't like them at all, but we love them, don't we? They keep you very loose and regular.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
That's what we're hoping.
Those vegetables, says Beatrice, are they organic? No, then, well, they're not officially organic. They probably have been. See, the thing, they probably have been sprayed with something. They're not organic because it's very difficult at Christmas to get organic vegetables. Now, we do like to buy that whenever we can, but you can't get organic Brussels sprouts. I've never seen those.
No.
You can get organic potatoes, but I think with a lot of vegetables, as long as you peel it, you're probably all right. It's the ones with leaves I worry about, like Brussels sprouts, for example, because you've got to eat the leaves. But anyway, let's not get into that, but they're not.
Okay, Steve.
What is the taste of swede, says Christina? Well, how would you describe the taste of swede?
Swede, well, it doesn't actually have what I would call a strong taste. It's a sort of light taste. It doesn't burn your mouth or have a strong flavour, but there is a flavour there. But it's quite. I think swede is quite mild.
I think you imagine a sweet potato, a cross between a sweet potato, a potato, and but a very mild flavour, and it's slightly bitter, but it's orange in colour. So there's some carotene in there, but only a small amount. It's carrots. You see are slightly sweet, so they're nice. Sweet potatoes. It's sort of it's bland. Is the only way to describe it. Bland, but you wouldn't. Some people like it. Some people don't. It's slightly bitter, but okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have a flavour, but it's not strong. It's not overpowering. So there you go.
Yes, Kolod. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Abdelnazer. They look the same as cabbage. They do. They look like small cabbages.
Yes, it's very strange.
They are because they're only about that big.
We're talking about sprouts, are we?
Yes.
Yes. So there they are.
They're only about 2 or 3 centimetres across.
They look like
in diameter.
They look like tiny little cabbages.
But they've got a very strong flavour. They're much stronger flavour than cabbages. They're quite pungent, quite sort of bitter, and not everybody likes them.
No, a lot of people don't like sprouts, but we love them very much.
If they're cooked properly, they're lovely. The problem with sprouts is they're often cooked poorly in restaurants. They're either undercooked or overcooked and left lying around. But if you cook them and cook them perfectly, they're actually lovely.
So we had lovely vegetables yesterday. By the way, we're going to show you the Christmas cards that we received, all of them, very briefly, because we didn't have a chance to show you them last week for various reasons that I will not go into at the moment. But here they are. Here are some of the lovely Christmas cards we received this year. So they are now hanging up on the wall. So that's how we normally display them. And you can see lots of lovely different varieties. Different scenes. We have Christmas trees, of course. Of course, quite a lot of cards this year have dogs on them. Another Christmas tree. Very nice. Also a little scene with a robin. And then we have a winter scene taken in Ironbridge, just around the corner from our house, not very far away. An old post box. Also a lovely winter scene with Santa Claus flying past the moon, a traditional fireplace with a Christmas tree, a traditional Christmas brass band playing in the snow, and also a wooded area that has been dusted with snow. There is something nice and abstract, a snowy scene, and also something rather amusing. Don't get your tinsel in a tangle. And there is a lovely card. Oh, that's a beautiful card, Steve. Look at that one. It's a beautiful...
Oh, wow. I've never seen such a beautiful card as that.
That is the nicest card I've ever seen in my life.
We're being sarcastic.
No. And there's Father Christmas with a snowman and a penguin and a Christmas pudding. A lot of warm, woolly hats for Christmas. Isn't that nice? And also this one is actually a photograph taken from the person who sent the card. Another lovely scene taken in a church with some choir boys. And there is a funny card. That one's from our friends Sonia and Brent. And a lovely gold leaf card as well. Very nice. Very beautiful. We have some more cards to show as well, because we did receive quite a few cards this year. I'm not sure if there were as many cards as last year.
I haven't counted them.
No, I don't think it was as many as last year, but there are some lovely cards, some lovely robins. That is from your mum, I think. Is that from your mother?
That is from my mother, yes.
It's
robins.
To both of you. And this one is from my friend Sean, a little friendly snowman playing with a dog. Isn't that lovely? I like that card.
That is nice. Is that a very... Oh, it looks like he's got a very long nose, but in fact it's the fence.
Walsall. Season's greetings from Walsall.
Well, that's a nice card.
I like that card. That was actually a card we received from our friend Martin. And I love that. It looks very expensive, can I just say. And you have it in your hand.
I do. I was going to show it. One, because Martin said he was coming on today. I haven't seen Marty yet. This might... are you there? Martin, are you there? And quite often people send cards from the place where they live. And this friend of ours lives in a town in the West Midlands called Walsall. Not Warsaw.
That's a very different place.
That's a very... Walsall in the West Midlands.
One of those places is run down and undeveloped, and the other place is Warsaw. Do you like that?
No. So it's a sort of past industrial town, I would say, in the West Midlands. And he was, I think, born there, and he sent us a card. See, we've sent cards to people in the past with Much Wenlock on it. Because probably a lot of places you can find Christmas cards with the name of the town you live in. And it's just something that people sometimes do.
They do.
So there we go.
I hope you enjoyed those cards. I must admit. Did you get anything nice, though, from Santa Claus? Did you get anything nice? What did you get for Christmas? If you celebrate Christmas, quite often you will have lots of lovely food, maybe some alcohol. But of course, the most exciting part of Christmas is when you receive your gifts from your loved ones or Mr. Steve. So it's an exciting time, and I always get very excited. I am like a little giggling child at Christmas. I do get very excited. Mr. Steve has bought some lovely gifts for me this year, which I will show you in a moment.
I'm bankrupt.
And also, I've bought Mr. Steve something as well. Quite often, when you buy gifts for people, sometimes you will buy a big gift and then maybe some small gifts as well for the same person. And the small gifts we often call stocking fillers. So when we say something is a stocking filler, it means it is a small gift, something you're giving that is not big, it's not expensive, but it is something that makes the gifts seem more special because you are giving a big gift and then maybe you will give a small gift as well. So we often describe a small present given at Christmas a stocking filler.
And my mother used to say when she grew up, sort of in the 1930s, Christmas presents, they would give things like oranges. That would be a Christmas present, an orange in your stocking.
Yes. Or we used to have pillowcases.
Yes, we had pillowcases.
Yeah. So the
The
gifts.
excitement of waking up as a child on Christmas Day and seeing that pillowcase hanging on your door handle, and it was full of all these bulging packages. Oh, the excitement was unbelievable.
You always get excited when you see a bulging package.
True.
Yes, it's true.
And I didn't know it when I was a child. That continued all the way through my life. No, I mean, Mr. Duncan's joking. No, he's not. But yes, the excitement, and that excitement continues. Even though we said it didn't really feel like Christmas to us this year. We put the tree up, we did everything, but it didn't quite feel right. But never mind. I think that's a combination of sort of the doom and gloom that's on the news,
okay,
and
Steve,
the weather, and just age.
I've got to say, we are not talking about that today at all.
No, we're not. I'm not. Well,
No, I'm not saying you were.
Going to pass right by it, but now you have talked about it.
No, I haven't talked about it.
Well,
I've just said we're not going to talk about
I
it.
know, but you're saying by not talking about, saying you're not going to talk about it, you are in effect talking about it.
Okay.
But never mind. Never mind. Yes, euphonium. You still haven't told us what plov is. Plov. That you're cooking with your rice and lamb. I want to know what it is.
I'm hoping it's.
Might have missed it.
I want it to be potatoes.
It could be potatoes.
It could be.
But what is plov?
I hope it is plov, as in potatoes.
Exactly.
I want them to be potatoes.
By the way, Euphonium says that watching your video of British and American English, he prefers the British English.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Which is the right thing to put on the live chat, of course. Yes, I think if you speak with if you speak with an English or a British accent, no one's ever going to be offended because it's a sort of a neutral accent. But if you speak with an American accent, that's fine probably if you're speaking to other Americans. But American accents can be a bit grating at times. They can be a little harsh on the ears. So, if you speak with a British accent, then you'll sound more intelligent, more sophisticated, a more calmer sort of person. Wow, Mr. Duncan, how are you today? You won't be having that nasally sound that can really be grating to people.
People love the American accent, though. They see the American accent is very cool.
Yeah, but to us it's very annoying.
No, yes, to you, maybe. I think to you it's
being controversial on Boxing Day.
I wouldn't say it's controversial. I don't think your opinion is unique.
No.
But yes, I know what you mean.
You need to speak with a cultured British accent.
I think if you want to have a villain in your movie, they have to have a British accent.
True.
I think if you have a baddie or a villain, they must have a British accent because they are much better, more convincing, more sinister if they have a British accent.
They always do that in American films. The evil person is always got a British accent.
and a good reason, though, because it's brilliant. It makes them seem even more sinister because it belies their true personality. As someone once famously said, if you speak or say anything with a British accent, people will always believe it. They will always trust it for some reason. I don't know why, but if you do, you could say anything. You could say anything with a British accent and it would sound believable. So what about you out there in YouTube land? Did you buy or get anything? Did you give something nice to someone? Or did you receive something nice from someone? I got some lovely gifts from Mr. Steve.
You did.
I did.
Did you? But this is another interesting question. Can we pose this one, which has been prompted by Mega Kakar? Sorry, I know I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but I've had a go. Who has hinted at the fact that she might have received a gift that she didn't want.
Oh.
So that's an interesting thing.
Yes.
We could pose that question. Has anybody, please let us know, if you received a gift, you don't have to say who it was from, and, nobody's watching. You people that bought you the present won't be. Did you receive any gifts that you didn't like?
I thought you were mentioning our viewing figures then.
Did you receive any gifts that you thought, what the earth did they buy me that for? I know it's the thought that counts, but please tell us about gifts that you received that you think were useless or pointless or a waste of time.
What has Mega received?
Mega has received gym stuff.
Gym stuff?
Presumably clothes for going to the gym. And it's not very useful because I never go to the gym. So there we go. But was that person giving you a hint?
Yes.
Maybe they were saying you need to get fit.
Yes.
Or something. It could be. It's like an insult. How dare you buy me? Are you saying I'm overweight? Do you think I need to go to the gym? How dare you? But have you received any gifts that you don't like?
It's a bit like receiving breath freshener or mouthwash as a gift, because that person is trying to tell you that you have bad breath, maybe.
Yes.
So yes, maybe they are just giving you a little hint that maybe you could go to the gym, maybe you could work out. But if you don't want that gift, you can always sell it on eBay, because that's what happens nowadays in this modern age. A lot of people who receive gifts that they don't like, they actually go on to eBay and sell their unwanted gifts that they've received that they don't want. They don't like them at all.
Yes, that's true. In fact, last night we saw there was an advert on television for eBay.
Yes, eBay is now advertising over Christmas because they know. They're clever. The people at eBay know that there are now lots of people with stuff, with things that they don't want, rubbish that other people have bought them. But they go onto eBay or any other auction site, there are many, and they sell it to someone else who does want it. So perhaps you could take your gym clothing or equipment and you could sell it on eBay and make some lovely moolah.
Exactly. You could actually, for all the money you've spent on gifts to people, you could get it all back by selling the ones that were given to you, assuming you don't want them. You could ask for presents for people for gifts that you already have. There's an idea. You could ask gifts from people that you already have that object, and then so that you can then sell it the next day on eBay after Christmas, and then make some money.
I like that
idea.
Yes. So ask for 3 or 4 people to buy you the same gift, and then you can sell those gifts on the internet and make some cash.
Thank you, Amil. Plov apparently is Azerbaijani meal, and it just means rice.
Oh, okay then.
So plov is rice.
So at least it was something starchy.
Rice and lamb. I bet it's spicy. I bet it's got some nice... Oh, Mr. Duncan, I'm salivating.
I like a bit of rice.
That's it.
Boiled,
you do, don't you?
Boiled, seasoned, flavoured with some herbs, spices, maybe even a little bit of egg You can have that lovely egg fried rice, very popular in Chinese food. Lovely. I like that.
You're a rice queen, Mr. Duncan. Or does that mean something else?
That means something quite different.
Oh, right. Okay.
Although you are right.
Right. Oh, yes. Mega thinks that's a very good idea to sell Christmas presents that you don't want.
So next year, or maybe this year, if you have stuff that you've received and you don't want, for example...
Yes.
Steve, are you what?
Euphonium, treble 8, has confirmed that you soak the rice in broth, meat broth, spices, add vegetables. It just sounds gorgeous.
You do seem excited by that.
I love it. I bet it's cooked in a pot in the oven, and it's all, imagine spicy rice with vegetables and broth. Oh my goodness, Mr. Duncan. It makes our meal later sound particularly bland.
No, surely not.
I've got a friend in Birmingham, and he cooks pork, and it's the nicest pork. Sorry, any Muslims watching. But he cooks this pork, and he does it in a way with all these spices and with the rice, and it must be very similar, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I could live on spicy food, curries, that sort of thing.
So if you want to sell something that you've received at Christmas time, for example...
Tomek's getting hungry.
Does anyone want to buy a shirt? Does anyone want to buy a shirt? I've received this shirt and, well, to be honest, if I was honest with you, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why anyone would want to wear this colour, to be honest. Who would want to wear anything?
It looks like someone's vomited all over it.
It does. So someone bought me this, I don't know who, but if anyone wants to buy this shirt, so I'm going to put this on eBay in a moment. So this is for sale. Someone bought this for me. Oh, hang on. I've just realised.
Yes, I bought that for you, Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Steve bought this for me.
How rude.
No, what I was saying is this shirt is lovely. It's such a lovely colour, Steve. I mean, how did you know that this was my favourite colour? Whatever it is.
It's yellowy orange. I thought, brighten up Mr. Duncan's life. In fact, my whole theme for Mr. Duncan for Christmas was clothes. Because Mr. Duncan, let's just, let's be honest here. Let's share. We're all friends.
I'm being honest.
Mr. Duncan's wardrobe is getting very small. Most of the clothes, Mr. Duncan doesn't like buying. I don't like buying clothes. Mr. Duncan doesn't. We just carry on wearing the same clothes until they wear out.
So now we are on the subject of gifts.
Gifts.
Steve has also bought me some new T-shirts, but not just one T-shirt, and not just one T-shirt or a lot of T-shirts with the same colour, but lots of different colours. For example, we have blue.
Yes.
We have, I think this is terracotta. I like that one. That's nice. I like that one. Then we have yellow. Now, I have to be honest, I don't normally wear yellow clothing. Yellow is a colour I don't often wear. So this is lovely. I like this one because it's unusual.
The thing with your eyes, Mr. Duncan's eyes, you probably can't see them, are like a dark brown colour. See, mine are blue, of course. Mr. Duncan's a brown, so he can wear pretty much anything. Because, I like to wear lots of blue because it, I like to coordinate with my lovely blue eyes.
Okay.
But yes, but you see, that wouldn't go with me. It would clash with my eyes, you see. Look. No.
In a moment, I think my fist is going to clash with your eye. Here we go. So that's yellow, and this is
mustard.
I think this might also be. This looks like terracotta as well, but I think you're right. I think it may be. I don't think it's mustard.
No, the other one was a mustard colour.
Oh, I see. The yellow one.
The yellow one was. See, these are sort of colours, but they're sort of slightly off colours.
So this is like terracotta again, but lighter. And then finally we have blue, again another shade of blue, dark blue. So thank you, Mr. Steve, for those lovely T-shirts.
Mr. Duncan needed an upgrade to his wardrobe. Everything's full of holes. Mr. Duncan wears T-shirts and they've got holes in them. Underpants are full of holes.
They are, but they have to have holes, you see, so I can put my little willy through it.
Oh, Mr. Duncan, we don't want to know about that.
Yes, but that's why it's got a hole.
Anyway, right, you'll always be, Mr. Duncan, don't be so rude. This is Boxing Day.
You explained, you mentioned the hole.
I was going to say it's because, all the gas that comes out
yes,
rots the fabric.
That's at the back.
Yes, beautiful colour. Yes, I thought, Mr. Duncan, what else did I buy you, Mr. Duncan? Clothing-wise?
Clothing, you bought me a pair of jeans.
I did.
As well, but I haven't got those here.
I took a big risk because I never buy... Do you buy clothes on the internet?
Do I?
I'm talking to
I see.
the people watching us.
Hello.
Our lovely friends.
Hi.
Yes, so we've got Okran is the first time on here from Iraq, I believe.
Hello, Iraq. Nice to see you here. Welcome.
Very much. And yes. So what was I saying, Mr. Duncan? I've lost my train of thought. Yes, do you buy clothes online? So what's wonderful living where we are, and just wonderful anyway, because I hate going to shops, is being able to just click online and order things. I never have to go into shops. I know it's lazy and it's killing the high street, but the only thing I've never purchased online is clothes. Because in my mind, I've got to try them on before I buy them.
I'm the same as you. Very similar. I'm always worried that the clothing won't fit. It's
and then
too big, and then you've got to send it back.
The hassle of sending it back.
I hate sending things back.
But I think it's a lot easier to send things back now. And I thought, I'm just going to take a risk, an experiment. I'll try it out on Mr. Duncan first. Buy him lots of clothes, jeans, T-shirts, shirts, smart shirts, and if it all goes to plan and they fit Mr. Duncan and he likes them, I will then do the same for myself, and then literally I never have to leave the house. I could buy everything online.
That's it.
That is my perfect world. The total opposite to my sister. And lots of other people like going to shops, trying clothes. I find it stressful. Being able to buy it online, perfect. What a wonderful life ahead of me.
Your sister has so many clothes. I think so. She loves buying clothes, but then many women do. You ladies, you like to buy your clothes, maybe a new hat, or maybe a new pair of shoes, or some new underwear, or maybe a bra. Did anyone see the Queen's speech yesterday? Did anyone? I'm not going to say too much, don't worry, Steve.
That's our Queen.
I know you're
Queen Elizabeth.
Yes, well, there aren't many queens in the world anymore. Well, okay, there might be one or two. Not so far away. But, oh, thanks, Steve. Did anyone see the Queen of England yesterday with her speech? Now, I don't want to be too personal, but I would have thought the wealthiest person in the world, the wealthiest woman in the world, could afford a decent bra. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Controversial.
Am I the only person that noticed that? That it was so distracting. And I was watching and I was listening to her lovely words, but all I kept thinking was, for goodness sake, you're a multi-millionaire. I mean, there must be some sort of special support or something.
I know, yes. It was a little distracting.
Just to bring all of that up a little bit. I was so distracted. Am I the only person that was distracted by that? Or is it just me? Am I just weird and odd and strange? Am I going to get cancelled in 2022?
Tomek saw the speech. So did Okun. Lots of people, yes. Tudzika. It's amazing. Other people are listening to our Queen all around the world. So yesterday it was one Queen, and today you've got two Queens.
You've got two Queens, but to be honest with you, I think we are much bigger Queens.
Definitely.
And Steve's bra does actually fit him.
Yes, because even men need support as they get older.
But yes, I'm not being personal or disrespectful. It was just very distracting.
It was distracting.
I couldn't take my eyes off the Queen of England and sort of below the neck. It was just so distracting.
There must be a way.
There must be a bra or something. You can just sort of lift everything up there.
Yes, but maybe the thing is, the Queen is very traditional.
I'm so glad it's not 200 years ago, because I would be dragged away from this live stream and I would be taken to the Tower of London, and then tomorrow morning I would have my head chopped off. But no, it isn't, so I won't.
Well,
I hope.
We've said it. It's out there, Mr. Duncan. But yes,
it certainly was out there.
We know the Queen is of a certain age.
Yes, I know.
But as you say, when you've got a lot of money, but then, she's not worried about things like that, maybe. But
she's not worried about the way she looks. She was wearing thousands of pounds worth of.
Yes, true. Yes,
she just wear it. She puts a £10 million crown on, Steve. I think the Queen might be bothered about how she looks. She lives in a bloody palace.
But the Queen's not going to ever have surgery.
No.
Or for cosmetic surgery or anything like that.
No.
So maybe it's just that's the way I am. Addie. It's Addie.
You can say Addie.
Got a new guitar for Christmas. From his girlfriend.
From their girlfriend.
A new guitar. So I'm assuming from the way that you use that phrase that you already have another guitar and have had one before.
Yes.
And you're going to tell me now that it's been mentioned lots of times, and I
was going to mention
it.
No, I was going to mention the pronouns were wrong again. They.
Oh, yes. Apologies.
They,
apologies.
them. They, them. Not
yes.
he, him.
Yes,
it's not he, him. It's they, them.
I've boobed, Mr. Duncan.
You are going to take a while to get into the 21st century properly.
I do, but
yes.
Anyway.
There are so many things you have to remember now, Steve.
Yes, not the only thing that needs a lift.
Auckland.
Yes. Auckland, yes.
See, now I disagree with that. I think that facially, the Queen looks lovely. I think she's aged very well. It's just that one distracting thing that I noticed yesterday, and I probably shouldn't be thinking about that, but I was just thinking, you're wealthy, you've got all the money, you've got jewellery and crowns and palaces, and you can have anyone locked up in prison at any moment. See, that's all I'm asking. Nothing too great. No, I'm not being disrespectful, but I did notice it. Fahad says, please do not talk bad. I'm not talking bad. It was just an observation. We will move on now.
We'll move on. My mother, who is a similar age.
Okay. Where are we going with this?
I'm not going to talk about my mother's anatomy. But she's coming to stay, isn't she?
Is she?
Yes, you know that.
Are you coming to stay with us? I don't think you are.
She could be watching now because she's with my sister. I think the entire family could well be watching us right now as we speak.
We've put the gazebo in the garden. There's the gazebo. As far as I'm aware, you're sleeping in the gazebo next week. Steve's mum. I don't know about staying here.
I think my mother and my sister and the entire family are now glued to their monitors watching us because they love to watch us, don't they, Mr. Duncan?
Everyone. All our family and friends and everyone.
They
just love watching us.
Yes. But blimey, 6 guitars.
Who?
Addie.
Addie has 6 guitars.
6 electric guitars and 3 acoustic ones.
All I can say is you must be highly strung.
Oh, that's a joke, isn't it? Yes.
I hope so.
Right. Well, we'd love to hear you playing. Somebody said they'd sent you a Christmas card, an email Christmas card.
I think I did receive it.
Yes.
I've received a lot of messages, actually, over the last couple of days. I was trying to get through all of them, but I did receive some messages and some lovely donations as well. Were really, really nice to hear from everyone. I must admit, I was quite surprised to get so many.
Have you reached 1 million subscribers yet?
No, I am around. I think I am around 30, maybe 31 or 32,000 short of 1 million.
We were trying to get there by the end of the year, weren't we?
Well, now it's going to be the end of 2022.
Right.
Or the 22nd century, whichever comes first. Whichever one comes first, Steve. I think it might be the latter.
Yes, so we still want to know about any particular gifts that you either liked or didn't like.
Yes. So what did you receive for Christmas? I gave Mr. Steve something very nice. Would you like to show one of your gifts?
I will do.
That you received.
I need to reach down here. I will disappear for a few seconds.
So show the small gift first. The small gift. Do you like my direction there? I'm directing.
Well, every year Mr. Duncan buys me a calendar to hang on my wall in front of me in my place where I work, my office as I call it, my little room upstairs where I have all the screens for work in front of me. And above the screen I've got this lovely calendar, and it's usually car related. Last year Mr. Duncan bought me one. We probably showed it. MG's, which is a British sports car, and then every month you turn it over and there's a new picture for the month. And I must admit, last year I thought Mr. Duncan's been buying me these car calendars for many years, but he seems to have forgotten the one type of car that is my favourite car, which anybody watching will know is the Ford Mustang. But imagine my delight and surprise when I opened a package which obviously was from the shape of it, because we like to guess, don't we like to guess our gifts from the shape of the gift?
When I see something wrapped up in a package, I often like to think of the shape of it, how big it might be when it comes out of the package.
And so my delight and surprise this year, I have a Ford Mustang calendar to hang up. Look at that, Mr. Duncan's trusting me to hold this up. I'm not doing a very good job.
Yes.
There we go.
Well, this is why I snatch things from you. So there it is.
Every month I've got a different Ford Mustang. I think they've been building those cars since the 1960s. So there are many different styles to choose from, and I will be pleasantly surprised every time I turn over to a new month and a new picture.
So every new month that arrives next year, Steve will have a different car staring at his face.
I do like that green colour.
This
It won't show up, will it, on the screen for people? It looks purple there, but in fact it's a nice green colour.
It is green, that, but...
Surprised you can't see through it.
Because of my chroma key.
Yes.
Anyway.
So I was very surprised about that.
Yes.
It's been a long time coming, but it's finally arrived.
We have another gift that I've bought for you.
Oh, yes.
Something else car-related.
Car-related. And I do like presents and gifts that are practical, that I can use. And not just silly ornaments or things which, you might want to stick it on your sideboard or something useful. So, car related.
By the way, we haven't mentioned the fire that we had earlier in the house. We had a fire in the house earlier.
Well,
not yet.
Exaggerating.
Not yet. No, wait there, Steve. This is what we call a teaser in the business. We had a fire in the house earlier, although Steve's kind of taken the excitement away now. We had a fire in the house, and I will be telling you all about the fire that happened just before we started today. There was a fire. The house was full of smoke. I had to open all the windows anyway. I bought Mr. Steve something else for Christmas.
Yes. So something I'm a bit obsessed with is checking the tyre pressures on my car. I've always been obsessed with it, and I've passed that on to my mother because every time I go to visit her, she always wants me to check the tyre pressures. It is important. It is important. So what I usually use is over the years I've moved from a foot pump and a little gauge,
Yes.
which is annoying, to one that you plug into the cigarette lighter in your car, the 12-volt socket. But now that one is broken. It stopped working. It takes a long time to pump the tyres up. Mr. Duncan has bought me this digital. Go on, you take charge of it. Tyre inflator.
Yes.
Which is rechargeable.
So, if Mr. Steve needs anything pumping, if you are in need of a good pump, Steve, this now will help Mr. Steve pump anything. He can pump his tyres. He can pump that big inflatable bouncy castle that he's got in the shape of Hogwarts. So anything. This now will inflate. It will give Mr. Steve the best blow or pump ever. It will blow anything up.
It sucks as well, Mr. Duncan.
Does it suck as well?
Yeah, you can take air out. You can reverse it.
I might keep this for myself.
Mr. Duncan. There's lots of attachments that come with it as well for various devices.
Even better.
But yes, I'm a bit obsessed with that because, and people laugh at me. People literally laugh at me.
They do.
You don't need to check your tyre pressures. People laugh at me.
Yes,
they do.
but they are the ones that often swerve off the road.
Well, you see, if they have to do an emergency stop on a wet road or even on a dry road,
They will swerve.
they will take longer to stop because their tyre pressures
Yes.
are not at the correct level. There's a reason why car manufacturers do lots of research and test what is the optimum tyre pressure for their cars. It's because it's safety.
Yes.
If your tyres are underinflated,
Yes.
and let's face it, that's all they're likely to be.
Yes.
You're not likely to pump them up too much. You're going to leave them for 6 months.
Okay.
And they're going to be underinflated. If you hit a patch of water, you might aquaplane, or if you try to do an emergency stop,
Okay.
it will take you like another car's length to
Really?
stop. I'm just promoting car safety,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan.
So Mr. Steve will be able to drive safely whilst other people will not.
That won't be me.
No.
Unless I get road rage, in which case it will be me one day. Cordless, yes, you can get cordless tyre pumps, which is brilliant because it's so annoying that you've got to plug the thing in. There's a long trailing wire and it doesn't reach around all four wheels, so you have to then swap it over halfway to do the other side of the car. It's very annoying. It's charging as we speak. 8 hours and I'll be able to go out and do all the pumping I want.
Yes, Steve can blow and suck anything he wants. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that.
Anybody else check their tyre pressures? I want to know. This is make it your New Year resolution to check your tyre pressures, because you never know when you need them to be fully pumped.
Yes, you never know. You always be prepared to pump. That could be the new phrase for 2022. Don't forget, be prepared to pump.
Is there anyone else out there who checks their tyre pressures regularly, or is it just me?
I think it might be just you.
I think it is. I think I'm the only person on the planet that does it.
Yes.
I've never met anyone in my entire life who ever checks their tyre pressures. They just say, oh, they do it at the service.
It's amazing how much mileage Mr. Steve is getting out of tyre pressure.
It's one of my obsessions in life.
That
In fact, I'm a bit obsessed with tyres.
That was a joke, by the way.
I've got a thing about tyres. They fascinate me.
Me too.
Looking at the tread design and how much tread you've got and whether they're winter tyres or summer tyres or all season. I'm a bit obsessed with tyres.
I think it's the smell of the rubber.
I like the smell of them. I do. I like the smell of the rubber as well.
I think that explains that outfit you've got.
When I've got a new set of tyres on the car, I sort of feel sort of excited. I love going to get new tyres for the car. I can't wait for them to wear out so that I can get new ones. Which are the quietest ones? Which ones give the best grip? That's what I could do, you know. I would be a very good tyre salesperson.
Really? Is there such a thing?
I'm going to go and work at Quick Fit
I can't. Yeah, but I
or
don't think
somewhere like that.
if you fit tyres, I don't think you have to sell them, really, do you? If
Ockram says it's...
if someone comes in with no tyres on their car, I don't think you need to try and sell the tyres to them as the sparks are flying off their wheel hubs and the exhaust pipe is dragging along the floor with sparks flying everywhere. I don't think they need anyone to sell them tyres because they need them.
Orkin says it sounds kinky.
What does?
Me talking about rubber.
Yes.
And Tomek says that he's off to check his tyre pressures now. Don't go now because this is the live stream. Go afterwards.
Yes.
We know he's being sarcastic.
I think a lot of people are finding it. They're just finding it an excuse, Steve, to go.
My tyre lets me know when the tyre pressure drops. Yes, Bogdan, it does. But beware. Beware, because it only tells you, it doesn't tell you when it's gone down 2 or 3. You know, it only tells you when you've got a serious problem and the tyres have really gone down. It's not telling you whether they're inflated at the correct level. See, I've got people who said that. Oh, my car, it'll tell me when the tyre pressures are low, but the tyre pressure monitors in the cars, the safety features, are only designed to tell you when it's gone really low, when it's, you know, doesn't tell you that you need to pump, you know, when you've got a puncture.
Yes.
So I'm talking about regular, normal tyre pressures that the manufacturers recommend that your tyres should be at.
Yeah.
It won't tell you if it's just gone down a little bit. It's only if you've got a puncture.
Oh my God, this might be
off my chest.
This might be the most boring conversation I've ever heard in my life.
Nobody's. I would be a good car tester, Christina. Yes.
One of those dummies that they strap in. Do you ever see the car footage, the films when they're testing cars? They normally put that dummy in the front. So I think Mr. Steve would make a very good crash test dummy.
Oh, thank you. Tomek's back already because he's just realised he doesn't have a car anymore.
Well, that might be the problem.
That
might be the problem while the air is very low, because the actual molecular structure of the car is also missing.
Yes, Farhad Shah wants to ask a question. I have one question. Yeah, ask away. Ask away.
As long as it's not the question that I think it is. If it's the question that I think it is, I'm going to answer it now. Yes and no.
Nobody's admitting to checking their tyre pressures.
No.
I'm very disappointed in you.
No one's ever going to admit to that because it's really sad.
It is a bit sad, but I just like doing it. When I've done it, I feel sort of, yes, my car is performing at its best.
Yes.
Well, the only thing between you and the road is the tyres.
Yes, well, that's true.
A great heavy thing, so that's got to be right.
Unless you've flipped the car over and now you're skidding along on your roof.
Plus, your tyres will last longer. Have I talked too much about tyres?
Wow, this might be... You know, all I can say is I'm so glad that we are now stuck in what I like to call the dead zone. The dead zone is what happens between Christmas and the New Year. There is that strange dead zone where nothing really happens. It's as if everything has come to a stop and everyone's just relaxing, except for us. We might be the only people doing a live stream today. I don't think anyone else is doing a live stream. So that's why our bandwidth is so big today.
See, if I can stop one person having an accident because they go and check their tyre pressures, I will feel that I have done something worthwhile for humanity.
Yes. Or you might have just destroyed someone's life.
Yeah, because they might go and check the tyre pressures and they haven't put their handbrake on and the car rolls back over them and seriously injures them.
Well, that wasn't what I meant.
Right.
I just meant a friend might see them and decide that they are now the saddest person in the world.
Thank you,
and
Bogdan.
then they lose all their friends.
Somebody's agreeing with me. Yes, you do lose a bit when you put the tyre. You have to put too much in because when you release the valve, a little bit comes out. It is annoying. That anybody who tests their tyres regularly will know how annoying that is.
I think it's your age. A little bit always comes out with me as well, especially when I laugh.
No, Palmyra, we didn't go into much Wenlock today, did we?
The weather is crap.
Because the weather is awful today.
It's a terrible day. It's horrible. It's cold, damp. Although tomorrow it's going to be like summer. Tomorrow it's going to be 16 Celsius. Tomorrow. That's weird.
It's just bizarre.
That's like early summer. So for some reason we are getting a lot of warm air. We're getting some lovely warm air coming from, is it the Azores or is it the Mediterranean?
Probably
it's
the Azores.
It's coming from somewhere.
We don't know where the Azores are.
I know
but we hear a lot about it. We've got warm weather coming from the Azores.
Yes.
We always the weathermen always describe that. It's somewhere down south. Probably around off the west coast of Africa.
Yes, you don't know, but now you're saying where it is.
I don't know where it is, but it must be somewhere south.
Yes,
where it's warmer.
Christina wants to know. Oh God, what have we done?
Every 2 weeks.
Oh.
And when I go on a long trip.
Yeah. Addie says my girlfriend also got me a Led Zeppelin bra. Ooh. Perhaps the Queen of England can have one of those.
Yes.
A Led Zeppelin bra. Maybe she should put that on her Christmas list for next year.
Yes, Alexandra, we did say that we were going to do a live stream in the open air, but we had to abandon that plan because it was pouring with rain.
We didn't realise that the weather was going to be so awful today.
It was yesterday. It was cold. It wasn't so much the cold, it was the fact that it was raining.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have been very pleasant to stand outside for potentially up to 2 hours in the pouring rain.
Yes.
We don't want to get pneumonia.
No. Or anything else.
Come to Turkey. We could have come to Turkey, and we'd have loved to go to Turkey.
We've been to Turkey twice. We've been to Turkey, and we're not talking about the bird. We're talking about the island and the big peninsula. Anatolia. The Anatolian Peninsula is what it's called. Did you know that? No, you didn't. You didn't know that.
Of course I did. Amil says, can we say hello to Azerbaijan? Can we? Hello, Azerbaijan. And please speak to all your friends and get them to come and watch Mr. Duncan and all his videos.
Fahad asked a question. How much does it cost to come, or when I come to England for work? Well, I suppose it depends. It depends what type of work you are doing, or maybe if you are coming here for a short period of time to do a certain job. So there are many ways of coming here to the UK or to England, maybe to work, but quite often you will have to have a job already. So you can come here and then you will start your job or do your work. So that's normally the way. But as for the cost, it could be anything. It could be £100, £1,000. It depends, I suppose, on how much money you have to spend. So that's
we don't know the rules, and they're constantly changing the rules for people who want to come and live and work in the UK. We're not experts on that.
No, well, I know about some of it because I had to learn about it myself.
Why?
Well, because the rules for working abroad are very similar wherever you go in the world. So they tend to be very similar. Although now here, they're much stricter, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah,
so we don't know. You'll have to look that up on the internet.
But I certainly don't know the cost. I wouldn't even begin to know how much it would cost. But I think you do need a job already. You can't just come here and stay here. You have to have some sort of work or some sort of job.
Before Brexit, you could have done. But the rules, of course, have changed now that we're no longer in the European Union. So you would need to go on a government website to check that out. We're certainly not experts in that.
No.
Right, okay. Interesting comment, Tomek. Yes.
What does Tomek say?
Well, he's got a passion of his own.
Oh, I see.
But it's not connected with cars.
Oh, he is into women who like to get into cars and go very fast along the road.
Right.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. As I always say, each person to their own device or their own vice. Oh.
Bogdan has received an electric unicycle for Christmas.
A unicycle? Isn't that just a broken bicycle?
I think you must mean, yes, the newest advancement in personal transportation. Aren't certain cities around the world, don't they have those rechargeable ones? Didn't we see those in Paris? Where they have, or are they rechargeable bikes?
No, a unicycle only has one wheel.
I know that, but
But they're not rechargeable.
I think Bogdan is suggesting...
And we didn't see them in Paris.
No, I think Bogdan is suggesting that these are it's like, what do you call them? Like skating boards, but they're rechargeable.
You mean scooters?
Not scooters. Well, what are these latest things that people are... They're sort of trying to ban them in the UK, aren't they? Because people are riding them on...
E-scooters.
I think that's what...
But a unicycle is just a bike that has a seat and one wheel.
I know, but I don't think that's what Bogdan means. I don't think anyone has brought out a one-wheeled rechargeable bike. I think what Bogdan means is these, skateboards, electric skateboards, as we call them.
Electric skateboards. I don't know where are the electric skateboards? I haven't seen them.
You must have heard of them because in the UK they're on the news all the time because teenagers are buying them.
E-scooters.
E-scooters, that's right.
Yeah,
but
that's not a skateboard.
But it looks like a skateboard, doesn't it?
But it's got a handle.
I know, but you know what I mean. Mr. Duncan can be so awkward at times.
Skateboards are just, like in Back to the Future, where Marty McFly
scooters
wants to go around on his hover scooter.
They
You've got me doing it now. Hoverboard.
Scooters.
Yes.
Well, don't bring it to the UK because they're thinking of banning them here. Yeah. In fact, they might already have banned them.
Although they're everywhere in London. In
fact, I think they are actually. Because what's happening is that people are buying them and then irresponsibly going very fast on pavements. Yeah. Public places and knocking people over, pedestrians, and people have died on them because they've been run over by cars. But in the right environment, they're fantastic. Yes. But
maybe in a world where only e-scooters exist, but they're not illegal yet. By the way, they're all over the place now in London. London is full of them. Right. If you go to London now, you will see e-scooters everywhere. They're everywhere. A lot of people this year have been buying them for Christmas. So there will be even more people driving and riding around on their e-scooters.
They sound like great fun.
They do look like fun, actually.
They look like great fun. So I'm sure that you will have fantastic fun on your we call them e-scooters.
I want one now. But a unicycle is just one wheel.
Yes, but anyway, no, Bogdan has said it is a rechargeable. Oh, it's half a bike. Oh, right, okay. Yes, a unicycle is a rechargeable half bike. Send us a picture. Send us a picture.
A unicycle is a one-wheeled bike.
Yeah, but they're scooters as well. They've said these are scooters. Oh, well, maybe it's not the same thing then. Right, okay.
It isn't the same thing.
Right, but I've never heard of a rechargeable unicycle.
Yes,
the
only other. No, there isn't. I don't think I've never heard of one. That's why I said I've never seen one.
But right, yes.
There are many things I haven't seen. By the way, I've never seen the craters of Neptune, but I'm pretty sure they exist. So just because I haven't seen them, it doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm pretty sure there is such a thing as an electric unicycle. I just haven't seen one.
Well, I mean, we would, yes, we're a bit confused over exactly what it looks like, but we'd like to see them. Well, no, we don't know what it looks like. We'd like to see a picture.
I'm just joking.
So I don't think it's an what did you call it? An something?
E-scooter.
I don't think it's an e-scooter. I think it's something else.
No.
I think it's more like an electric bike, which we have been on. They are fantastic. Electric bikes are brilliant.
It's a bike with one. It's half a bike. It's one wheel.
Right. Well, that'll be. Send us a picture, please.
Yes, I'm intrigued.
You can ride them away from policemen's eyes on private roads.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes. The other thing, I suppose e-scooters are very similar to drones. They're both things that people want and they want to use them, but other people feel annoyed by them. You get annoyed by things quite often, don't you, Steve?
Me?
We went out the other day for a little meal in town, and there was a lady with her husband, and they had a little baby, didn't they?
Yes.
What was the baby doing?
Screaming!
It was screaming its head off, crying and screaming all the time. And Mr. Steve must have done something. He must have looked at them with a disapproving glance, because the lady, the mother of the child, said, "Oh, it's okay. We're going now. We're going in a moment." So I didn't see this because my glasses were completely steamed up. So because I have to wear my stupid mask everywhere I go, my glasses are always steamed up when I'm walking around. So I didn't see this. But then afterwards I realised that Steve had looked. He even said to me, "They're leaving in a minute."
I would have gone. I
think they
I've got a
heard.
very good disapproving look. I would have just gone,
Yes, do it right at the camera.
Oh, no, I can't do it to the camera.
No, that's good. What you just did is brilliant. Do it at the camera. Yes. Oh, imagine. No, stay still.
I can't do it.
Just look.
You see, I give people that disapproving look and
Yes.
they instantly, that's Mr. Steve.
Mr. Steve gives a look of disapproval.
Yes. Once I give that look of disapproval, then people have to act.
Yes. Oh, they certainly do.
I'm only joking.
They leave.
But it does annoy me. I know we can't talk about that. It would be a very controversial thing.
Yes.
To
But it
talk
was
about.
funny, though. It just was funny. But it can be annoying sometimes if you go to a little place to eat and you want to sit down and be quiet and have a nice quiet time. And then suddenly the baby. I've got a baby somewhere on here. I'm sure I have. Let's see if I can find a baby. Have I got a baby? I thought I did have a baby, but I think it's gone.
I'm just laughing at what Anarchy has said.
Oh, can I?
Rather than a disapproving look, it's that Anarchy has called a murderer glance.
Oh, yes. Well, very similar.
Yes.
Yeah, very similar.
Yes, I'm saying do something about that.
Yes.
Or else.
Or else I will. I was going to say something then, but I'm not going to. But it does involve a fruit scone and a lot of butter
I often give you disapproving looks, don't I?
all the time. Your face is stuck in a disapproving look with me. I think so.
I've had lots of practice
Yes.
at giving the disapproving look.
Mm.
Mountain bikes in Italy, says Christina, to climb the trails. Yes, because they are very expensive. And now, but in a way, you often can't tell now, can you, whether it's an electric bike or not? Because the newest electric bikes have integrated the battery very cleverly into the frame of the bike, so that you can't see a big battery pack which gives it away. So maybe you're cycling up this mountain trail, and people are thinking that you are super fit, where in fact you've got a battery secreted within the frame of the bike and you are cheating. But it must be a lot of help.
It must be.
They must be almost as good as having a motorbike.
Well, yes. Well, they're not quite as powerful as that, but I'm sure they're really good to
Bograms
use.
can go 100 miles,
Yes.
which I think is...
But they are restricted. They can't go any faster than 15 miles an hour, unfortunately. So they are restricted by law that they can't go any faster than 15 miles an hour, which is sad, really.
Bogdan has given us the model of his bike. It's an EK XTOP Revo D5 PWM.
Yes.
Can you remember that?
Yes. It comes with a pump.
And I've written that down. I'm going to look it up on the internet when we finished. And,
All I want to know is how many wheels does it have? Does it have 1 wheel, 2 wheels, 4 wheels? Or is it just a big pile of wheels going everywhere?
Palmyra, well, thank you, Palmyra. You started the conversation. Some restaurants do not let people in with babies.
Ah,
Now, I'd like to know the names of those restaurants
Yeah.
because I would very, much like to go to those restaurants, because as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing worse than going out for a nice meal with your loved one or with anybody else, family, and then you go into that restaurant. I know I'm being controversial.
Not really.
And then there is somebody sitting in the table next to you with screaming babies.
Yes.
And we remarked, you see, of course, when we grew up in the sort of 60s...
Babies didn't cry.
No, but they wouldn't be taken to restaurants.
No.
Because it would be seen as impolite to the other people in the restaurant to upset their experience by having your screaming baby next to you or your children running around. That would be a very disrespectful thing to do.
Yeah.
But these days, nobody see people do, and it's the same way that people take dogs and pets into the restaurant with them.
Steve, we can talk.
Is that even more controversial?
Well, only if you shout it like that.
Yes.
We can criticise babies, but everyone now will get very angry if you criticise dogs. Leave the dogs alone. You can criticise babies all you want, because they stink, they smell, they produce all sorts of horrible things, and they're very annoying, and they make a lot of noise. Actually, come to think of it, dogs are the same as babies. They also stink. They also produce horrible things, and they also make a terrible noise. So you might be right there, Steve. I think you're right.
Yes, anyone coming to the UK, just be aware that you must never criticise anyone who owns dogs or any kind of pet, because we're in this country, virtually everybody has a dog or a cat or something, and you can't criticise them.
You're fine now, Steve. It's around the world. Dogs are popular, not just here, but around the world, everywhere.
Certainly since lockdown, a lot of people, since all these, we're not going to mention the word, a lot of people have felt lonely in the house, and they've on their own maybe, and they've bought a pet during these times, the last 2 years.
Yes, we all know. I don't think there is anyone alive who doesn't know about the last 2 years, but they also get dogs that are broken as well. They get dogs that are crazy.
Yes, exactly.
So that's it. That's all we're saying. But babies, definitely babies, they bring them into the restaurant or the cafe, or if you are really unlucky, on an aeroplane. Oh, Steve.
That poor baby. I feel sorry for
Poor
the
baby? What about the poor passengers?
I know, because people take, when you're on a plane, your ears are constantly, aren't they? The air pressure, you've got to keep swallowing, and it gets if you don't, it can get very painful. The air pressure in your ears when the plane goes up and down.
Okay.
Well, imagine a poor baby. It doesn't know what to do. It must be in tremendous pain. And and of course, everyone else in the plane has to suffer.
Yes, everyone else is in pain, listening to the baby crying for 13 hours.
Yes, Anarchy, in the UK, a lot of restaurants will allow people to bring their dogs into the restaurant.
Yeah. So you might have a family with a baby and maybe a dog. So they're bringing everything in.
Yes,
just everything.
Marshmallow. Restaurants should be for adults, but for some reason we've got to be, everyone's welcome now. You've got to be nice to everyone. Bring your babies in, bring your dogs in, bring your cat. Oh, you've got a pet lion. Yes, bring that in, no problem. Pet monkey. Yes, bring that in as well. And everyone else has to suffer. We find, I know that people won't agree with me.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is you can perfectly fit a baby into the overhead compartments on a plane.
Yes.
So that's what they're there for. A lot of people forget this. They're not there for your baggage. They're not there for the luggage. That's the place where you put your baby. You put them into a little thing, a little crib, and then you just put them away. You stow them away. Or if you're really lucky, you can put them down below with the...
Well, Palmyra says that
suitcases.
In the US, I think Palmyra is saying that there are a lot of restaurants will ban babies from restaurants. Good. I think that's very good.
Yes.
And if I ever come, I've never heard of that in any restaurant in the UK. I don't think any restaurant would dare put a ban on people bringing babies in, because they would be cancelled, wouldn't they? somebody would get hold of that. It would be all over social media, and they would ruin the reputation of that restaurant. See, restaurants here would be very scared to not allow people to bring babies or pets in for fear that somebody would try and ruin their reputation by saying how awful they are. But I think, actually, if you opened a restaurant and said no dogs, no children, no babies, I think you'd get a certain clientele would go.
But where do you stop?
Including us.
But where do you stop? Because then you could start banning other things from the restaurant. So this is the problem, you see. We like to think nowadays that we are all inclusive of everything. But sometimes you have to make sure that the things that you are allowing are not disturbing everyone else. Babies crying, dogs barking. The dog maybe. I remember once.
Yes, I was about to recall that story.
We were in a little cafe
in Much Wenlock.
In Much Wenlock, having a lovely dinner, weren't we? And then this bloke, this man, we'll call him a man, well, because he was, with his wife and two greyhound. I think they were actually whippets.
Big dogs.
He sat down. And the dogs were there. They were huge, and they were really sort of
wandering around,
boisterous,
annoying people.
And one of them,
yes, threw up.
One of them vomited.
One of them vomited right next to us.
Right next to our table.
The dog. So you're in a restaurant. You're paying for that meal. Somebody brings a dog in, and it vomits.
Yes, it vomited. It threw up right next to us, everywhere. Just this disgusting mess. It smelled awful, but enough about the meal.
That restaurant's closed now. I'm not surprised.
Well.
Yes, Palmyra. Well, British people are very tolerant. You see, we're always scared to complain.
No, we pretend to be tolerant.
We're seething with rage inside.
Underneath. Underneath.
Oh, what a lovely dog. What a lovely baby.
That's why we don't have guns in this country. Trust me, if English people could carry guns like they do in the United States, there would be no one left. There would just be piles and piles of spent cartridges on the ground, and not many people. So that's the reason why we don't have guns here. We can't buy guns openly because we just wouldn't last very long, because British people hold it all in. We're all annoyed, we're all angry, but we can't do anything about it. So we have to just...
We can't express ourselves, we're all quite reserved.
Like that.
We just smile. I don't, I just give the...
So that's the reason why...
look of disapproval, or the murderer's look.
That is the reason why we don't have guns in this country. We can't buy them. Because it wouldn't end well. If you think the rate of gun deaths and injury in the United States is bad, trust me, we would be off the scale.
Nitram says that in my country I have never experienced a dog in a restaurant.
Oh.
Well, come to the UK and they're everywhere, unfortunately. But there you go. That's life.
Maybe where you are, you have dog restaurants where dogs just go to eat.
Yes.
That would be a good idea. Hey, wait there a second. Dog restaurants. So the owners come and they bring their dog in, and then the dog sits down at a little area where there is a bowl, and then the dog has the meal. This could be it. This could be a new venture for Much Wenlock. Maybe we could start up our own business where we have a dog restaurant, and there's a little menu in the window, and all of the owners come and they choose their meals, and then the dog goes in, and it's all dogs in there.
Yeah, I don't mind if people are walking out with their dogs.
And there's a sign outside saying no humans allowed.
Well, if people want to, there should be somewhere to put babies. And if a restaurant is allowing people to go, and what, oh blimey, isn't it? Yes. What a palaver. A palaver, something that's complicated,
Yes.
something that's a lot of work.
Yes, something that needs a lot of things to be done to achieve is it's a palaver.
And it's probably not enjoyable as you're doing it.
We often say fuss and palaver.
Yes.
It's a lot of fuss and palaver. It means it's very complicated. Too much work.
Nitram asks, what are our favourite Christmas movies? Well, that's a very interesting question.
Die Hard. What?
Is it? Is that a good Christmas?
That's my favourite Christmas movie, Die Hard.
You've never mentioned that to me before.
A lot of people forget that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is. What? It is.
Was it filmed during the Christmas period? Is that
Yes,
when they did the robbery?
it's set at Christmas.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's my favourite Christmas movie. What's wrong with that?
We can watch it later.
Yeah, bit of Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Steve.
Well, I like, if you want to know what my favourite movie is,
Not really.
at Christmas, it's not really a Christmas movie
Oh,
as such, but it's
God.
always shown at Christmas in the UK.
Oh,
Murder on the Orient Express.
oh.
But it feels like a Christmas movie because it's set in a snowy, snowbound country. And it's the version that was made in the 1970s.
Apparently Die Hard 2 is the Christmas one.
Right.
So Die Hard 2 then.
I like Murder on the Orient Express. Our new Christmas movie, I think, is one of the episodes from our favourite detective, Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Duncan?
Yeah.
I'm not a famous detective. I should be.
Yes, that series, we always usually watch it after the live stream.
You mean
don't we?
Columbo?
Columbo, that's it.
You can't remember Columbo.
Well, I could. I just wanted I thought I'd let you say it. There's an episode which they never filmed a Christmas episode, but it was obviously set in the Christmas period because there are clues like a snowman.
There's just one brief moment, and it's this is a great bit of trivia. If you ever want to ask someone a question, ask, which episode of Columbo does Father Christmas appear in? He makes an appearance. It's a great one. And it is the very first proper episode that was the second pilot, the second test episode of Columbo, called Ransom for a Dead Man. And towards the end of the episode, very quickly, as the camera moves across, you see Father Christmas in a shop at the airport. But it's on screen for about half a second. But that is the only appearance of Father Christmas or anything to do with Christmas in the whole of Columbo. There isn't
fascinating.
There isn't ever any other mention of Christmas or Father Christmas or anything in Columbo. That is the only time, briefly, you see Father Christmas. And that's it.
The other Christmas movie I like is Scrooge. I mean, that's very traditional.
A Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol or Scrooge. There are musical versions, non-musical versions.
There's been loads.
There's been lots of them.
I like the one with Alistair Sim.
Yes.
Oh. I was expecting more of a reaction there.
Yes, that's
one.
quite a scary one.
That is, I think the Alistair Sim one is the one that most people refer to, and then there's that dreadful one with George C. Scott? Steve,
I can't remember.
It's terrible, but it was filmed. Can you believe it? It was filmed just up the road from here in Shrewsbury.
Was it?
Actually, yes, some of the scenes for I think it was George C. Scott was playing Scrooge, and there is still some of the set from that movie in the churchyard. The actual gravestone of Ebenezer Scrooge is still there. They left it there after filming in the graveyard. So you can actually go to Shrewsbury, just near here, where we live, and you can see the gravestone for Ebenezer Scrooge. It's still there. But it's a piece of scenery from a movie. And I'm sure it was George C. Scott. But there have been many versions of A Christmas Carol, including mine, by the way. I have done my own version of A Christmas Carol, and it's available on my YouTube channel. And it has 500,000 views. Ooh.
Yes, and it's very popular. And you do a reading, don't you, from the Mr. Bean is Euphonium's favourite movie. Yes, you wouldn't think of that as a lot of films that are shown at Christmas aren't necessarily what you would class as Christmas films, but they just tend to be shown at Christmas. I mean, in the UK, as we grew up, they always showed James Bond films at Christmas. They always used to show James Bond films. It was always there was always a James Bond film on Christmas afternoon,
Yes.
and everybody watched it.
Yes. And the other films, of course, we have The Great Escape
Yes.
with Paul Newman. That one is on every single Christmas. I don't know why.
Bridge over the River Kwai.
Yeah, why are there so many war films on during Christmas? Isn't that strange? We maybe it's just here in the UK, Steve, but we have lots of war films on over Christmas. It's not really very Christmassy, is it? Very cheerful when you think about it.
Yes. So you can get films which were specifically made for Christmas, like Scrooge. What's another definitely made for Christmas film?
Home Alone.
Frozen. Was that?
No, that's just set.
That's just set a car.
Home Alone. Home Alone is a Christmas film.
Yes.
Ho ho. Did you know in the sequel of Home Alone 2, there is a character in that movie called Mr. Duncan.
Really?
Yes, in the second Home Alone movie.
Does he teach English?
There is a character, he owns a toy shop, and his name is Mr. Duncan, and he befriends the character played by Macaulay Culkin. I can't remember his name now, the character. I know the actor. Well, I don't know him personally.
Of course, any movies with Jesus in is going to be Christmassy.
I didn't know Jesus did movies.
He's been in quite a few.
Has he?
Yeah, famous actor.
Who would have thought Jesus would be a movie star?
Yes. But anything sort of cartoony, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Is that Christmassy?
It's not. Well, it tends to be shown at Christmas, so you feel like it's a Christmas film.
Of course, a new one that a lot of people show at Christmas is The Grinch. The Grinch That Stole Christmas, a very famous book by Dr. Seuss. Ooh.
Dr. Seuss. Wasn't that a character from Planet of the Apes? Was that Dr. No? I'm just joking. Zeus. Isn't that the god of war, Zeus?
Dr. Seuss.
Oh, Dr. Seuss. Oh, I'm thinking of Dr. Zaius. That's
What?
Tomek's come up with a good idea for a Christmas film.
Have you been drinking?
Tomek's come up with a good idea for a Christmas film: Jesus and the Seven Dwarfs.
That's it.
Charles Darwin, yes.
Charles Darwin was born in Shrewsbury, just up the road. Yes, a lot of people don't realise that. Charles Darwin, the guy that wrote that book about the monkeys and the men, and then everything sort of, it all comes like that. And then they go, ooh, ooh, ooh. And they go, hello there, I'm a human being now. Hi, hello.
And Needtram says Love Actually.
Yes, that's a British film. It is starring Hugh Grant.
Is that a Christmas film?
It is a Christmas film.
So it's set in Christmas. It is a Christmas film.
Oddly enough, it is Hugh Grant playing the part of the Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yes.
And uses a very interesting word, the epitome of a Christmas movie.
Yes. The pinnacle.
Yes.
The pinnacle. The highest point. Something that is, in essence, completely Christmassy.
You would say is the epitome of a Christmas movie. To use correct English there, you would say Love Actually is the epitome of a Christmas movie. But yes, Cinderella, of course, Cinderella Christina is, of course, Is that a Christmas? Is that
Well,
set at Christmas?
it isn't set at Christmas,
But-
but fantasies, fairy tales. There are a lot of fairy tales around at Christmas. You will see a lot of fairy tales and a lot of fairies as well, sitting on the top of the Christmas tree.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. All those sorts of films are shown at Christmas. They're not necessarily films that were made specifically for Christmas, but because they're. See, I always, whenever I see Roger Moore in a James Bond film,
Yeah.
I think of Christmas because that's all that was shown throughout the 70s when I was growing up. That's everybody sat down because there were only maybe three television channels, and everybody sat down to watch James Bond film in the afternoon,
Yes.
probably after the Queen's speech.
There was one, though. There was one James Bond film that was set during Christmas. Do you remember it? It was
No.
it was Dr. Ho Ho Ho. See, that's quick. That's how this brain works. It's so fast. It's like a computer.
2
It's
hours
like
in and you're still functioning.
future.
See, I'm flagging now.
If anyone's from Intel computer processors is watching, this is what you need. One of these inside your computer. One of my brains.
Inarchy, Epitome, Paramount, yes. The pinnacle, if you say something's the epitome, if you say a particular film like Love Actually is the epitome of a Christmas film, you mean it fits all the characteristics that you would want in a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Like
maybe,
Scrooge.
Maybe the things you would expect to see.
Yes, snow, Christmas trees,
Father Christmas.
Father Christmas. Yes.
Drunk people fighting in the street.
You could also say that Mr. Duncan is the epitome of a good English teacher. He shows all the characteristics
I'm
of
not
what a good English teacher should be.
I am not sure about that. Can you believe we've been here for 2 hours?
I can believe it because I'm beginning to feel tired.
I can't believe it. Yes, 2 hours and 1 minute I've been here, even though I was slightly late. And you can see already behind where we're standing, it is now dark outside. It is completely dark.
Yes, Nitram, you're right. The perfect example of something. That's exactly right.
Yes.
And any film set in Russia
Hmm.
is always Christmassy as well. Christmas music, anything with Christmas music in it, because we tend to have this picture of Russia of always lots of snow, magical castles, things like that. It sort of gives that, anything set in Russia.
And of course,
I always
yes,
think
yes,
of Christmas.
a lot of people yesterday were talking about Russia because of the anniversary of the fall of the Soviet Union. So yesterday,
Yes.
30 years ago yesterday, the flag was raised. So the Soviet Union flag was lowered and Russia became non-Soviet. And it changed the face, it changed the whole structure of not only Russia, but also the Europe as well. So Greater Europe, Eurasia, all of that area completely changed slowly over time. It was amazing. So an amazing time.
What's that other Christmas film that we like to watch with that comedian? And he puts lights, American comedian. He puts lights outside his house. Holiday Road.
Oh, Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Yes, there is a good film called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's the one.
And it stars one of my favourite funny people, Chevy Chase. A lot of people don't like Chevy Chase, especially in real life. He does have a reputation for being a bit of an asshole, but he's very funny. So yes, if you want to watch a good movie, funny, lots of laughter, lots of silly things happening, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, starring Chevy Chase.
Hercule Poirot, of course. Murder on the Orient Express is a film, with that famous French detective in.
Have you seen?
And it just feels Christmassy when I watch that film.
Have you seen the remake of that film with, who is it? Kenneth Branagh. playing the part. And he's got this giant moustache.
It looks ridiculous.
What's he doing with that moustache? Why is his moustache so big in the remake of Murder on the Orient Express?
Yes.
And there is another one soon, Death on the Nile, I think. That's coming out in the cinema soon. And he has this huge moustache that comes out like this. It's like massive, huge. You could hang your hat on his moustache.
Watch the version that was made in the 1970s. That's the definitive version.
That's it. That's got who? Peter Ustinov.
Peter Ustinov's in it. No, it's not him.
Oh, isn't it?
No, it's I've got it in there.
Albert Finney.
I think it's Albert Finney.
Yes.
And a lot of famous Hollywood stars are in that movie.
The problem is you can't understand what he's saying in the movie. He's got a French accent, but it's very strong. And also, who else is in it? 2 other famous people.
I can't remember their names.
John Gielgud is also in it.
Yes.
And also a famous actress.
Can't remember.
Oh, this is your favourite Christmas film.
Yes, I'm flagging now. If you say you're flagging, it means you're feeling tired and your energy is going.
What about the music, though?
The music's wonderful. Lovely music.
Oh, have we stopped?
Yes, it just sort of makes you feel. Yeah, anyway, I like it. So everyone's got their favourite Christmas film, and thank you for sharing with us. And is it time for me to go and put the kettle on? Mr.
It's almost
Duncan?
time for us both to go,
Right.
because I've had a busy day today, even though it's the public holiday. Everyone else is relaxing and doing nothing, and here we are, still on YouTube, still on the internet.
Lydung, yes. What time do you usually live stream? Well, it's 2 p.m. UK time.
2 p.m. UK time. There it is. Every Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, this is the final live stream of 2021. Did you realise that? This is it. So
Yes.
Not only are we saying goodbye to Christmas, we're also saying goodbye to 2021, because next week it will be the 2nd of January 2022. Ooh, are you looking forward to it? Can you wait? I bet you're really excited. I bet you can't wait to see what happens next year of all the fun and excitement we're going to have on this planet.
Right. Lovely. Well, it's been lovely being here today.
Yes, and this year.
And this year, this whole of this year. So, yes, next time we see you, are we going to be on New Year's Day?
No.
On the Sunday?
No, we're not.
Oh, sorry, I meant the day after New Year's Day.
Well,
Are we doing next Sunday?
yes, I just said.
Oh, right, okay. I missed that. I was reading the live stream. So yes, because on New Year's Day we're going to be watching, which we love to watch in the morning, don't we? Every year, that lovely music from Vienna. We shall be watching that, and that'll make us feel like New Year.
That's it. So we always like to watch that. It's on for about 2 hours, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's a lovely the dances and the orchestra live New Year's Day concert from
Viennese music.
Viennese music, as everyone
Yes.
dances and twirls in that beautiful, ornate ballroom.
I'd love to go to Vienna.
It's the most amazing building, that.
We will go one day.
I love it.
So, lovely to see you all.
Yeah.
I hope you all have a lovely New Year when you celebrate New Year. I'm sure we will, and we'll let you know all about it on Sunday, and you will let us know all about what you did for New Year as well.
Yes.
So I'm going to go off into the kitchen, put the kettle on. We've got no tea cakes, of course.
No tea cakes.
But never mind, we've got lots of chocolate, and we've got lots of biscuits and nuts and all sorts of salty snacks that you tend to eat at this time of the year. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Steve, and he's gone. And there it was. I hope you enjoyed another view, another look at our lovely Christmas lights. Did you enjoy that? I really hope you did. It's almost time to say goodbye, but just before I go today, can I just tell you about something that happened earlier? Something that happened earlier. I was making some toast in the kitchen, and then I walked away from the kitchen whilst the toast was slowly going brown. About 10 minutes later, the smoke alarm in the house started to beep and the siren was going off. Very loud, very noisy. And I went into the kitchen and the kitchen was full of smoke because my toast had got stuck in the toaster. So even though the toaster went off, it was still inside and it was still getting hotter and hotter. So the electricity was still going through the toaster. And here it is. Would you like to see my toast? There it is. There is the toast. Oh, that is disgusting. That I made earlier, or I tried to make, but then it caught fire and the house was filled with smoke. So that is the small drama I had this afternoon just before coming on. There was smoke everywhere. There was smoke in the studio. There was smoke all over the place. So that is the little drama that occurred earlier on today. It's almost time to say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. I hope it's been good and I hope it's been enjoyable. We've been sharing our Boxing Day together. I hope you have had a good time. See you later, everyone. It is very nice to see you here today. I hope you have a good week. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas holiday, if you have one. And, of course, can I wish you a Happy New Year, because next weekend it will be 2022. And I will be back with you next Sunday, which, of course, will be the 2nd of January 2022. Have a good week. Have a good New Year celebration wherever you are in the world. And of course, I will see you then live next Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, until the next time we meet here, can I wish you once again a happy Christmas. Have a merry holiday. Have a super duper time wherever you are right now. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.